right. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Talk That Talk with the King and Queen. I'm King Clay. Queen Clay. I'm Queen Clay. Some special guests tonight. This is our first time having a panel. So this is episode 3. Anyhow, we do have some special guests, some family and some friends that have joined us tonight. And in the lower left corner, go ahead and introduce yourself, Savage.
Oh, I'm Cedric.
From
San Diego. I'm a divorcee, feel me? Single black male, single dad, kind of. You mean? Hey.
Okay. This ain't the dating show yet. Now, hold on. Now we got the dating show coming up next. We ain't got that far yet. We'll put you on. You'll be the first one on. All right, and then next we have Queen. Is that Beyonce right there? Who is that?
Hold on, let me get my life together. Beyonce and Jay-Z. No,
okay, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to. Okay, I didn't want to. Okay.
No, this is my wonderful husband, Chris, and my name is Crystal.
And all right, and where are you guys from? Where are you guys located?
We in San Diego.
Oh, okay. And then we go circle around to the top with the powerful Unk in the background. Who do I see back there?
Yes, this is your co-host, Mark.
All right. So tonight's topic is we're going to be talking about failed marriages. So I just want to open up with just a little bit of information that I kind of read up on, just about some basically suggestions, like 10 suggestions to kind of know if you're in the danger zone. Let me back up and say that everybody's, speaking tonight is not necessarily, your personal failed marriage experience. If you have a failed marriage experience, that's fine. You can share that. If you don't, maybe you witnessed a failed marriage, or you know what I mean. It could be from whatever perspective. It doesn't necessarily have to be, that's exactly what you experienced. You could be trying to avoid a failed marriage, or whatever the case may be. So anyhow, this is just an open conversation. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Okay, so some of the things that I kind of looked up and kind of saw, these are kind of 10 tips to know, basically red flags to kind of know that you may possibly be in a failed marriage. One of those is feeling alone or feeling isolated. Sometimes you can be with somebody physically and still emotionally feel alone. And so if that's the case, that could be a sign of a failed, possible failed marriage, or to come. Non-existent sex. I read up that they say 12% of marriages are absolutely sexless. To me, that's not really I guess a high number. I don't know. What do you think, Marcus?
Being intimate is not a high number.
All right.
12% out of 100%. I don't know. That's just my opinion. So I think something like 50% would be a big number.
But with that question,
with intimacy. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Mark.
So with that question, we're asking, they saying it's a 12% of marriages are failed because of the lack of intimacy. It depends, really. You want to get down to nitty gritty on it. It's who they're asking, because a lot of these surveys, they don't ask the mass people or the real people that need to really answer these questions. I would say, from things that I know, sex in a relationship is a big deal. We can always go back to TV shows, comedy, in our community. Black folks will say, hey, once she got me, she stopped doing them things before she got me. You know, she stopped being nasty. She stopped being a girlfriend. She stopped being free when we got together. She's like, oh, I got him now. Then, hey, and he ain't going nowhere, and stuff starts teetering off. You know, so I think that percentage is probably a lot higher, but it shouldn't be the only thing that marriages fail at.
Yeah, well, actually, they're saying of 100 excuse me, of 100 marriages, 12 of them are not having sex with each other.
Right. But who they
Well,
at?
look, in my marriage, when me and my wife started having sex, it was over. It was literally over. Like,
When you said when you started or when you stopped?
stopped having sex, it was over. Like, it was done. Like, done.
That is a red flag that you can attest that is a factual one.
I mean, yeah, but see, the whole thing, I stayed with her, though. You feel me? I stayed with her, and I prolonged. So, like, I can work it out, but we weren't intimate at all, though. Like, years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it was just ugly. It was ugly. It was ugly.
So did you, if you don't mind me asking, did you keep
I stayed with her a long time. We're just recently divorced, so like I was with her for 22 years.
What I'm asking is when the marriage became sexless.
That was like 4 years. You know what I mean? To the end. I mean, it was like bad.
So my question is, in those, if you don't mind answering, during that sexless part of your marriage,
Right.
did you step outside of the marriage, or did you stay in and did you?
I stayed out a whole lot, honestly. I wasn't, but I wasn't a bad husband, though. I was good to her, you know what I mean? But it's at the end, though. It's the end. I stepped out a lot. Stepped out a whole lot. And, yeah. So it is.
They say a lot of times, sometimes they say women, they say we leave emotionally first and then physically last. So she sounded like she was already gone, you know, emotionally and maybe just still there physically.
She was angry with me from past things, and she thought she can get over them. You know what I mean? And you know, years down the line, she realized she couldn't get over them. You know what I mean? And I couldn't do that, though. I mean, it's what it is.
Yeah, I think that's a thing. Like if you guys have, if in a marriage or a relationship, you have a specific issue that somebody can't get over and it keeps coming up and up and up, like after a certain amount of time, I think you need to accept that issue and that thing, or you need to be with that person anymore because you're causing hell in both of your lives by continuing to beat that dead horse. It's just my opinion.
Right, no, I feel it. I mean, me personally, I had other babies. So, you know what I'm saying? That was the thing. I mean, they kept coming up. I don't be a dad. Regardless, so, I mean.
You saying you kept having children during your marriage.
Right.
That's what she couldn't get over.
Right. And I can't be mad at her. I mean, like on that tip, though, but like, everything happens for reasons. I'm not a dog ass nigga. Thank God, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Yeah,
it just depends on the woman. I can speak from personal experience. When I was married, my husband had a baby outside of the marriage. We had a split. We split up, you know, during a time. And then when I decided, you know, he still wanted, of course, never wanted to split up in the first place. And then when I decided to give him a second chance to take him back, I decided to embrace that child 100%. I wasn't going to get back with him and not treat his daughter that he had during our marriage like she was mine. So I did it. You're either all in or not at all. And that wasn't it, huh?
She's my kids bad.
Your wife treats your kids bad. She resented them. She didn't get over it. Yeah, she didn't accept it, I guess. That's what I just said, right? Accept the thing and keep it pushing, or don't be together. That's what I think.
Well, that's also another topic in its own too, because there's a lot of that going back and forth, accepting kids from other people that you may have cheated on, or even before a prior relationship. That's been a big thing that I've seen a lot, and I talk about it. There's a lot of women out here that will not accept another man's child, even if it was from cheating or previous. You met a brand new person. There are women out here that do not like in taking care of other men's kids.
Right.
It's really, you can see it because, or you even in a man's household, a man gets with a woman with kids. Not saying he's going to do a lot more for that woman's kids than a woman would do for a man's kids. It has happened, and I've seen it in personal people where you can see they might not treat that child bad, but the attitude is there.
Right.
To wanting to deal with another woman's child is there.
Not always, but there are those cases. I feel like if you cannot accept the person you're with, dating, seeing, married to, whatever, if you don't accept their kids, I just feel like that's a huge issue because that's a part of them. Right. I just feel like that's,
I think a lot of people would rather a man abandon his kids and just focus on home, like literally, like they might not say it. That's what they want though. Like,
a lot of men right now.
Well, once you go abandon any outside kids type shit and focus on home, like that's how my stepmom was literally. I mean, she erased the whole dynamic. Feel me? Like literally, like just.
So your stepmom basically gave your dad a hard time about you and your siblings.
Being around, period. Feel me? By me being around, period. When to alienate me, and she has 3 sons. Feel me? Then, and one by my daddy. So it's like I wasn't allowed to be a part of his life because I'm my mama's son. I mean, it's weird. It's weird. Really weird though.
Ultimately, he accepted that. He made that choice. That was her suggestion, and he accepted that. And unfortunately, I feel like, obviously, he shouldn't have. His wife shouldn't have made him pick.
I wouldn't actually like that though. You mean?
That's what Marcus just said. I guess, yeah. I guess so. But I just feel like as a man or even as a woman, why get into that when you start to see that disconnect between your spouse and your child?
Right.
I'm not saying just give up. Of course, you try to work on it. Try to make it work. But after so long, to me, it's just beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
Sadly, every kid or every person is going to have a story. You know what I'm saying? So sadly, that happened to people, but that's your story and that's your truth. And so now you have to fix whatever happened from your childhood to your adulthood. So you see red flags and stuff, and you see red flags in other people. And ultimately, you don't want to have your childhood happen to you, so therefore you fix whatever and however it is for your generations to come.
Chris, you got anything? Your input?
No, actually, this is pretty good. I'm just listening because I don't want to say too much because this
brother, you gotta get that input.
Dangerous subject here.
This is a no judgment zone here.
Yeah, we try to keep it.
We went through all this already. We just trying to keep the peace here.
Okay.
That's what we all about, man. We
having no issues in people's households. Okay, let's.
That's not because you already know I treat my stepkids like my own. Everybody about to get cussed right now today.
We're not here.
Everybody gonna get love and hugs right now today.
We're not here for drama. We're not here for drama. We're here for just good old talk. So no drama.
That's right.
Yeah, me also. I was a real bad husband though for a long time. I mean, beyond us being sexual and stuff, beyond that, like I wasn't a good husband.
Why?
I wasn't ready to get married, really. I got married because I was going to prison. Feel me?
You got married? Why?
I was going to prison.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? I was going to do a long time with it. So we got married. Feel me?
It was kind of a pressured marriage, basically.
I mean, no. Something like that. But I mean,
pressure was on because you were going away and you wanted somebody to be locked in with you, right?
Something like exactly. And that's what I had. So that's why I wasn't period. But like, I did love that woman.
Yo, I know you did.
Feel me? Like I don't think I ever loved anybody properly. Feel me?
Yeah.
Like, everything, but it's just crazy, man. Like when people get married, they should make sure they're ready though, you know, mentally, financially, you know what I'm saying? Like just like wholeheartedly want to get into it, feel me? Because it's real serious. A lot of people don't take it that serious, feel me? Or they put a lot of dubs on it, but they don't really hold it dear. And like I mean, I miss being in love or feeling like I love, feel me? But I know I never loved like properly. So like, I mean, I gotta get it right first, and then maybe I get it right back. You know what I mean? Type shit. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I have another question. Just keep it rolling. Get off that one. Do you guys feel like money can ruin a marriage?
Just say
Good money or bad money? So having a lot of money or not having enough money, do those ruin marriages?
Like a spider web, because it's like so many different ways you can go there. Like not being a good judgment over your money, or like not being like, there's so many different
Bad habits.
Yeah, it's so many.
I think money issues is a bigger reason that people get divorced than cheating, you know. Um I mean, because women ultimately just want their man to be, you know, the provider.
right.
And they're gonna act different if you're not providing, and you just gotta accept that if you really know what's going on and you know you're not really doing what you need to be doing, you know, you know why your woman is acting up on, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean they want the finer things, they want, you know what I'm saying, they wanna do things when they want to do it. You know, they
Right.
necessarily don't want to. If they don't have to work, they don't want to work. You know what I'm saying? So
That is true.
everybody's looking for that main man. You know what I'm saying?
That's not always true. I like my job. I want to go to work.
I'm glad you like your job. Man.
So with that, with going piggyback off of what you said, you know, I think in a core in these 2000s and 2020 years, we have gotten away from part of that as men being providers and making a strong home. So now we have women that are, you know, independent.
Mhm.
They making their own money. They're doing their own thing, providing homes for themselves and stuff like that. That subject can go down a deep hole to knowing what the government has done to make that work, where there are no fathers in the homes.
Yes.
But when it comes down to the money, you know, we can dib and dab and say, I would say yes, it can hurt both ways, having an abundance of money and not having enough money. You know, quote unquote, if the man has the money or the woman has the majority of the money, is a breadwinner from whatever avenue, and the vice versa. Each one is become the stay-at-home parent or spouse. You know, things can get a little rough. You know, I even thought about it before. It comes up in jokes and stuff like that. You know, if I was a stay-at-home father or stay-at-home husband, you know, you got to provide and do the things at home that needs to be done while your spouse is making the money. Like I said, I've seen little scenarios of it when people I know, you know, it's like, hey, you stay at home, you taking care of the kids, you gotta take care of the house. And if it's the man that's staying at home, you know, he has to, you know, make sure food is cooked and the house is clean and stuff like that. So that person that is bringing home the bread, they don't have to come home to a messy home or having to feel like they got to do a million things. You got to play your part.
Right.
Being broke, that can hurt you too, because, you know, either one spouse can be like, look, you ain't bringing nothing to the table. I want to go out. I want to do things. It's always on me. You're not helping. I want to go on vacation.
Right.
And that person, you know, is always the one having to foot the bill. You know, it depends on the personality of those two people. Some people say, hey, I got it. I'm going to take care of it. And, you know, you got people that are like, look, I just need a little helping hand. You know, hey, if I'm going to pay for a vacation, hey, what you going to pay on this part? You going to help out on this part? Or, you know, vice versa. So you can have a great time with that.
I wanted to back up real quick because we didn't really say, as far as Chris and Crystal being the only married couple, how long have you guys been married? I know because I was in the wedding, but everybody else doesn't know. That's watching, tuning in.
40 years.
Okay.
It feel like it, but it will be 5 years in March.
In March, huh?
Mhm.
Okay.
We don't need y'all making it feel like 40. We need to make it feel like it's brand new.
Oh,
Like 4 days. You feel me?
he be trying.
But we
Yeah, I
all
heard
know
you
it's
had, I
hard.
heard you had what was your ankle was broke, your foot, your leg, your
Girl went into work limping, right?
Going on
They
them
was like,
acrobats.
"Oh my God, what
I heard about it, Chris.
happened to you?" I said he had me in a pretzel last. My knee was hurt real bad. It's okay. No,
Yeah. Okay, so the next actually financial stress was the third on my list. The next is if you fight too much or basically constant fighting. That's kind of another red flag and a kind of telltale sign, that the marriage is, not headed in the right direction. So I also hear that there is some healthy amount of arguing, which I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like a girl like me, I don't argue. I'm very much like, I feel like I'm very much so like submissive and go along and be just like, okay, and I'm not real confrontational or anything like that. So you could, could that be something that could get boring? Like, because you're not arguing? Is that really a thing? Like arguing is like healthy, a certain amount of arguing?
I would say arguing, I would say there's a slight goodness to it. It's not saying you have to argue, flat out argue, but it's speaking up for yourself. It doesn't have to be in an argument, but it does, you can speak up. There's always going to be some confrontation between couples.
As long as you know what I mean, like you don't spit no toxicity into it. You know what I mean, argue, I guess, whatever.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where's that line? Like, where's the
Yeah.
healthy line versus that?
That line is drawn when that man said, "Hey, now be quiet." That's that line right there. Hey, be quiet.
I know. I could do a great debate. I was in that movie. Great debate.
I saw him.
And
Okay.
I always, but when it gets to the point where it's angry and I'm losing sight of what I'm trying to say, and I know when my husband's on with it, I'm just like, whatever. I can talk all my stuff down the street.
Okay. So there is, kind of, I think what I'm hearing is there is a healthy amount of, arguing. You mean?
I agree.
I mean, it's good to have an accountability partner that's going to tell you when you're not. We don't always want to hear when we're not right. You know what I'm saying? So, and that could turn into an argument, and I might just have my mind set on I'm right. So we might as well not even go back and forth about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what are we?
Right.
Why are we going back and forth about it?
Right. I mean,
I
that's
learned
what
that.
Ultimately, I get my way. It's like, no, I'm just joking.
I actually learned that from Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, because I was actually different before him. I was more argumentative, I had to get my point, I had to get my point out. I had to have the last word. I had to be heard. I had to let you know that what you said was wrong and what I'm saying is right. And I learned from listening to him that you don't have to do that.
Right. Just
like you just said, Chris, I don't always need to know that I'm wrong. Like, so I don't know. I'm different now. I just like, okay.
I think this whole movement of like, I mean, anyway, I think
I'm sorry.
the way households are set up now to where, I mean, it's all fine and dandy. You know what I'm saying? I'm all for equal rights and women out here making their bread and everything. But I think like the way, I'm not even going to say the way it's supposed to be, but I'm thinking like the way it worked, the way things are going now, is not really working with like traditional men and things like this. And you got these strong women out here, which, you know what I'm saying, it's cool, but they got to know when to tone it down sometimes, you know. I'm all about you going out here getting your bread, having your business, doing whatever you're doing. But as far as in a household, I believe it's supposed to be a structure, you know, and that keeps everything in alignment.
Amen.
It's not a chain of order.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. And then we got people amen.
I mean, that's true. You gotta have some type of order in the house. It's not saying that
without order is chaos.
Right. It's not saying the man has to be almighty everything, but there has to be an understanding between the two people.
Amen.
Who's leading, who's not. I always say I don't really need to always be leading. Right. I'd rather have my partner walk with me, not in front of me or behind me. I need you to be next to me. So it's trying to learn things. But we all have our quote unquote knickknacks, what we like and we don't like. So like I've been in relationships like that where I had my partner always wanted to be the lead. And I'm like, no, I can't fly with that. You know, it's let me be me, let me be the man, and you'll see how things will work. And they just wouldn't allow to step back. So, and it's hard for even a man to do it. You know, I'm not saying a man, you know, you can't be just like, oh, you got to do what I do in strong armor all the time. But you do have to be the leader and I would be quote unquote say that alpha, you know, and take charge when it needs to be take charge. But you don't have to be down out rude to your partner or stuff like that, or just dragging them through the mud and stuff like that, or oh, he ain't gonna do this, oh, she ain't gonna do that, and she ain't this and that. So it has to be partnership.
Right. Amen.
That was good.
I want to step back and say one thing, because I said I was argumentative pre Kevin Samuels. I wasn't argumentative, but when Chris said, speak up for yourself. I would speak up for myself, but I would repeat myself. I would make, you know, I would just not let it rest. Like I would get my point out and then I would just continue to get the same point over and over and over.
Yeah, that's what we don't like.
No, like I said, I realized that following listening to Kevin, he taught me a lot. He changed me.
Yeah, men don't like men.
But don't just keep beating a dead horse. Like, okay, if a guy if they say okay, that's all. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta let that go.
I'm with you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, it's code for.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what you say? What place you do it again? That was funny. What you say?
Okay, I heard you. It's called for.
Like, damn! Don't say the shit.
Don't say nothing else.
What he understands is don't beat the drum. Don't beat the drum.
I was guilty of that.
There's a lot. I've been in relationships.
I ain't know no better.
I've been in relationships like, all right, you didn't say what you had to say. This is going on day 2, day 3. Let it go. I
didn't know how to let it go.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to.
That's the one other comedy thing about it too, because we always say a woman, you know, no matter what you do, it might be 5 years down the road, she's gonna bring up something that you did 5 years ago. Oh, you left the toilet seat.
Yes, in the vows it say no, not in the vows. In the court of law, it say anything you say. and will be whatever you say, I'm gonna use it against you. I mean, that's what. And then if you don't get it, I'm gonna have to reiterate what I said because I felt like.
Like, hold on, that don't got nothing to do with what we talking
The
about.
price of tea
That
in
was
China
5 years ago.
I know what I get you, Crystal.
right. And I
Yeah,
really feel that
yeah.
we're outnumbered because it's 2 against 3. And so somebody else, we just gotta prejudge like what.
Women don't know how to let go. You don't
But,
know how to
but
let go.
Marcus, I give you are on the ball today. Go ahead.
He stays on the ball.
I'm full of
Okay,
knowledge.
Hold on, I thought we were talking about the same thing.
Yeah, we was. Honey, you always wait, hold on. You're always on the ball.
There you go. All right. So the next point, which we kind of covered, was not fighting at all. And that's I kind of merged into fighting too much and not fighting at all, kind of in the same question, because what was being said was if you don't fight it, if you get to a point where you just don't care, you don't care what they do. They could do whatever, say whatever to you, do whatever to you. You ain't got no reaction anymore. You just like, you know what? I could care less. Just another red flag, that the marriage could be in trouble because the person, they might have checked out emotionally to where they can't be affected and they can no longer feel the hurt, the pain, the good, the bad, nothing. It's just, so we kind of covered that. Not wanting to hang out with your spouse is number 6. So, with that, it's just pretty much either you don't want to hang out with your spouse, but you're happy to hang out with anybody but them, or vice versa. They don't want to hang out, with you no more. It's not that they're too tired and they don't want to hang out at all.
They don't go.
Anybody but you.
Right.
Well, what brings that around?
I've been there.
It could be what do you think? Can you speak on this?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it can be behavior issues. Not wanting to hang out with your spouse in quote unquote social environments.
Right.
Because you might feel something typical about that person. Maybe it's looks. You don't want to be out in public with them. That's an issue.
No, we're talking about your spouse.
Right.
That's what he's talking about. You're not wanting with your spouse.
You don't want to be out in public with your spouse because of her looks or
you don't want to hang out with them no more. So you used to it, now you don't.
Right. That leads into people getting older and stuff like that too, where they let themselves go.
Getting older is a blessing, though. Letting herself go, that's something different.
That's the same. If you let if you let yourself go, that could lead into like, hey,
right,
I don't really want to hang out with you no more in public. Man, you can let yourself go.
Right.
You ain't the person I married. Woo, this and that. That's an issue. That could be part of a reason why you don't want to hang out no more.
Yeah.
But like I said, it could be that other person's behavior. It could be bad behavior or
examples. Can we give some examples? It's so general. Can we give some more, like some actual examples?
It could have just behavior issues. You could be that person, they get out and they don't know how to act in public. They loud or they get too drunk all the time.
Yeah.
Just being out, it could be stuff like that, or they're not finding themselves to be fun no more, or vice versa. I want to do this and they don't want to do that, and you always trying to get them to do something with you or what you want to do, and that spouse doesn't want to do that.
Yeah. Is it sort of like the thrill is gone type of thing?
Somewhat, but you're just saying like, hey, I want to go bowling. No, I want to go bowling. Well, I enjoy bowling. You used to go bowling with me. No, you don't. So I'm gonna go do it on my own. Or when I do, we go somewhere. It's like, that other spouse might not be happy there. You can get that feeling. You know what I'm saying? If that person is not really enjoying their time with you, doing an activity that you want to do. So that kind of does it. It splits it up. So I seen him, I guess a little bit. My parents, my dad, he always like, I'm out. My mom always, she always calling. I don't know where your daddy at. You know, he gone. He in the streets. And I was like, growing up, he did the same thing. And either I was with him, tagging along with him, and I just seen like, this what you do all day. He just be in the streets ripping and running. And my mom on the weekend when she was off work, she did the same thing, but she did it by herself. You know, she did her shopping or whatever she needed to do. You know, either I was tagging along or my aunt was there. So, and as far as seeing them really hanging out together, a lot of time it was mainly, if it wasn't, it was a family event. And that was it.
Okay. All right. Well, I can speak on a relationship that it was still good. My parents, my dad was like a socialite like me. My mom was an introvert, the opposite of me, the opposite of my dad. So my mom wasn't really into going to the events, but she was his rider. So she would ride with him.
Wow.
But she wouldn't go in, but she was patient. So she didn't mind staying in the car because she don't like to be around people. But she would ride with him. She would stay in the car. He would go in, socialize, do whatever he did, and then came back. And then they would ride out somewhere else together, like to the beach, or they used to often, the number one thing my parents used to do, if you're from San Diego, you know the Round Table. They used to park in the Round Table parking lot and watch the club get out. That was like a thing that they did for a lot of years.
Wow.
Anyway, she was his rider, but she didn't want to function like that around people.
Right.
Yeah.
But they had a, you know, so this doesn't apply for every situation because they had a happy marriage. They was they was in love with each other, but they just was different type of social beings. So they found a happy medium, and yeah.
Let's go. Lesson.
Yeah. Let's see here. So the next thing is always nitpicking, or always like kind of picking on your partner. Did you have something you wanted to say, Crystal?
I wanted to go back and.
Oh, just jump in. Yeah. Don't wait. Just jump in.
Body, you know. So
Jump in, girl.
like a relationship on any aspect, it's like it's a job. It's a career. You know, and so you have to take classes, get better, learn new stuff, take it to the next level. You know, an argument, just because you have an argument, that don't mean you dislike the person, or a disagreement. You don't not like the person.
I think you still love them, but you could not like them at the time. But you'd be like, I don't like you right now.
Right. So that's why I feel like, and first when I said that, I think it was like a job, like a career. Like I really like my job. So in order for me to stay on my job, I need to make sure this and this is said. I need to make sure I know this. I need to learn and appreciate everything about this job, because I can be easily replaced. Not like in my relationship, but I'm just saying.
I mean, to be honest, you could be replacing your relationship too. You got to work hard for that too. But what you're saying is like your job. You know that you can't miss so many days. You know that you can miss days.
You do. You know, like
you can't just be, and the same thing with your relationship, right? You just can't be continuing to have off days, maybe.
Right. So that's how I feel like a relationship. You're always learning, you're always growing, because this is the person you love. If you say you love someone, you're going to grow and learn them. At different stages, their love languages change and they need something else. Like sometimes they need a one love language and you're not giving because you are.
That's news to me. I never knew love languages changed. So this is my learn for tonight.
Yeah, girl, different.
Because this will be the first thing I learned new for today. Okay.
No, but some
new.
Yes, I love that. Huh?
Seasons change. There are like some, and then people can have like two that like continuously stick with them. Like,
oh, I didn't know people have more than one love language.
Girl, yes. And
I would say you will.
People always say, "What's your love language?" Like, you know, you got to think of one. So I didn't know that was that there.
You have multiple love languages, especially if you're depleted and you have been depleted for years. Facts, you can have different love languages.
Yeah, things I would say your love will change over time, just like your palate change. So as you get older, there's gonna be things that you gonna want to need more than you did when you was younger. Most couples, probably, especially young couples, 20s, 30s, they probably, hey, sex is a thing. Then you get start getting older, it's more of a companionship that you're looking for.
There is one love language that's gonna carry you. There's one, and you have a secondary that can kind of fluctuate. But I believe there's one that can kind of just carry with you, and you really don't. You know, I believe I believe in this. Is just like my nose. I believe that everybody words of affirmation thrives off of words and affirmations. That's me personally. But then there's like another secondary love language that would shadow that. But
I have to do some research on myself to figure mine out. Okay. Anybody else have anything on this particular? Okay, so let's see. So we talked about not wanting to hang out, nitpicking with each other. Oh, okay. So when you get to the point to when you're just flirting too much with others. Now, what I was reading up on, they said flirting, or I mean, I think that's a personal opinion. Like if flirting, if my spouse flirting, if that's within my comfort zone or not, that's my comfort zone. And if it's not in somebody else's comfort zone, everybody's comfort zone with flirting, I think, is different. But what I was reading was saying, oh, everybody flirts, but that's not true because I'm not a flirty girl. I don't flirt. I've never been a flirty girl. But what they say is everybody flirts, you know, but when you start to flirt too much, you know, it's kind of a red flag that you're seeking, you know, attention in other places because there's not red flags, you know, at home.
I guess obvious though, like you're flirting too much, you're trying to get, you know what I mean, flirty. I mean,
let somebody know that you.
But what are we talking about? Is it flirting in front of your spouse or just in general?
I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
I've been through that too. I've been a victim of that. I'll say that's a victim. I've been a victim of that.
So the reason why I bring
weird shit.
Yeah. Sorry, so I didn't mean to cut you off.
I think that's disrespect. That's disrespectful.
I don't think so.
Flirt in front of your spouse, but then again, I'm kind of.
What if you like you talking to your spouse like oh baby look, look at that, she got cheeks.
No, that's cool.
Okay,
to me, that's cool. Everybody's comfort zones.
I don't think it's disrespectful up to a certain. Again, it's one of those things where you got to draw that line. So, like I said, we're here to talk about experiences. I see. Right. I had uncles like that. We'd be out in the whole family group setting. He flirt, but he never crossed that line. Like he'd see a lady or something, or you know, we all like bumping or like get in the elevator. He would say, hey miss, hey cutie, boo boo, blah blah. But he never really took it up on a point. Like, you know, he say things to another woman, like, because I don't know her name. Right. You know, but he used to just mess with people. Gotcha. You know, but he did it with men and women too. Like, not like really with men, but, you know, he's a talker. He would talk to people. Too. My dad is the same way. He would be out, he would just spark a conversation with anybody. Like, dude, like, we don't know these people. You know, but when it comes down to flirting, I don't think it's, as long as you don't cross that line, you can say something to another person in public, like say hi or how you doing, you know, maybe, hey, you look nice or whatever, depending on, you know, where you at. You might be in a place where everybody is dressed formal, then you will say, hey, you know, you look nice in your dress or whatever.
So, okay.
A lot of people aren't accepting that though.
Let's talk about this. Let's just sit here for a minute. So if you're telling somebody that just like a random person at an event you're at, you like you said, a formal, you dressed up, and you tell them, "Oh, you look nice," and they don't even know your name. Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of weird. I think that's kind of because like, are you telling somebody you don't know that they look nice, or are you telling somebody you do know, like the auntie or the?
You don't
If
know.
we're talking about
You
flirting,
notice-
if you're flirting,
you should. You know, if you notice it, you want to speak on it, you should just speak on it. Like, it looks nice. It shouldn't be weird. You mean you think it looks nice?
That's a word of affirmation. Like that's something
Okay.
that should be. That's why I said it's. So positive words of affirmation. I'll be somewhere and without even getting my husband's attention, I'll be like, "Oh, she is a very pretty girl."
Right.
Yeah, but you're not into women, so that wouldn't be considered flirting.
but yeah,
Right.
but you gotta take that in an instance. Like, so if a man was to say a compliment on another woman in front of me, like, "Oh, you looking at her, this and that," some
Yeah,
women
I'm
don't
in
like
a
that.
relationship like that, and it was
Right.
not pretty.
Right. So you that's what we're saying the flirting. I don't think nothing wrong with it. I've been accused of have floating eyes and stuff like that. I look at it like this. I ain't gay. If I see something, I'm going to look. Now, my actions on that are different. If I act on it, then there's a problem if I'm acting on it in front of whoever I'm with.
Okay,
Now,
that makes sense.
I'm going to look, but also me, and I explain this to Quasi too, and I try to explain this to exes and stuff like that too. My head stays on the swivel, regardless in public or whatever. With that, I stay on the swivel because you never know what's going to happen. So I'm always looking and watching, and it's not just looking at women; it's just everybody in general. So that's where I got accused of, "Oh, you got wandering eyes." No, I'm watching my surroundings.
But I could sometimes see the glare and the beauty bouncing in my eyes. Like,
And most of the time, you see it before I see it.
you're
Right. And they bring it to your attention.
Look, she'll be like, and then she'll look at me.
Did you see that?
What you looking at?
No judgment zone.
Like,
Sorry, Kitchy, what you looking at?
Who's looking too? That's what it was. Everybody looking.
Women are beautiful. It is what it is.
oh, I love that, and I'm all with that. But I have seen women undress Chris with their eyes, like
I know about that as well.
you'll be like, wait, what? Like, what we about to do then?
Yeah, I hear that too. I'd be like, what, where, when? I ain't seen shit.
No, he saw who. He couldn't act like an owl because it was so
I don't
obvious.
know.
It wasn't who. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. So basically, flirting too much with others, what too much is, we don't know. I guess that just depends on the person or the relationship. I'm not sure if flirting too much, does that depend on the individual or does that depend on the relationship that you're in? What do you guys think?
Okay. I can't speak.
Huh?
I can't speak on.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't
I would
speak.
say it's every relationship has its boundaries, is what they make that decision of where that line is.
Amen.
Because you got some couples that don't mind it to the point where the woman even, she might be the one that's more aggressive with the flirting with, or saying stuff. So it's really up to each individual relationship. I think personally, it shouldn't be a problem. It should be something looked at as being healthy or saying you're having fun together. Especially when you're out together. I mean, it should go I would say go both ways. I hear a lot of women say, well, I don't be looking at men and this and that when I'm out. Man, y'all just slick with it. That's it. But y'all do look. But I would say if you're together, just don't get mad at each other for it.
Jeez, we
You
look.
know, you're going to look regardless.
We look.
You can't deny it. For a woman, if you see a man out, whatever, cut, buff, whoop, you're going to notice. You might not stare at him, but you're going to notice. It's going to happen. You can't be in this world and not see people. Period.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
your eyes, you human, you alive, so you're gonna see.
That's a lie.
All right. All right. So number 9 on the list is if you both refuse to seek help
Wow.
outside of.
A mediator can help. I mean, in a lot of issues. Like literally, sometimes, because sometimes it gets bad where you can't communicate at all. You still attempt to communicate, and you just keep bumping heads. And so a mediator can't help, though. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. Has anybody had? What do
Yeah.
you say, Marcus?
Outside help, somebody to see things from a different perspective. Yes, I think it needs to be done to help you out. And I would say generally try to find somebody that does not know your situation, so they cannot be biased. That will be my key. I've been in a situation where I felt like I talked and said, "Hey, we need help. Let's get some help," and the other person shut down. So that let me know that there wasn't in it for the long run or trying to work on anything. Now we all stubborn. I can't say I'm stubborn some ways somehow, but yeah, definitely outside help with even if it's just both of them or just individual helps to help yourself grow.
Yep, that's what. I agree. If you can't get, if you, the other person is not interested, and you want to save your marriage, go ahead and reach out and seek help individually to help you get the strength and understanding for things that may not be coming to you. Um, the 10th and final thing on my list is a couple or a person that brags about the relationship too much. And the example was given was repeatedly posted on social media. I'm in love. I love this person. This person loves me. Um, you know, just repeatedly, bragging. Everybody knows what bragging is. That's also a red flag that things cannot, maybe not as good on the inside,
Right.
but they want to validate things and make it look good on the outside because the inside is not so good. What do you guys think about that?
Maybe I think maybe it's for a season. Maybe it could be like a season, like where you feel like, but you ain't. I mean, hot summer, winter, spring, fall. I mean,
I think when people do that, they're not really genuine and it's more for show. And they're just trying to show people, like, look, I'm in a relationship now. Ooh, I got a man now. That's the best.
But does that mean that they're not happy in the relationship and that the relationship is headed for trouble?
If we're solely what we're talking about, like posting stuff, right? Or
red flags, for the marriage, and what they said was if a person brags too much about their relationship, that could be a red flag that the relationship's in trouble.
I would
Yeah,
say,
and the example was social media, constantly posting everything. Oh, I love him. He loves me.
I would say yes because something there is missing. As far as if you got one individual, it's just really just going out the way to show every little thing that they do or stuff like that. It could be just really an overexcitement of that person. So I will say, yeah, it could be over too much.
Overexcitement, you said?
Like that person, because some people, I feel like when people do that, they're posting a lot. It's just like they just like, oh, I gotta post this, I gotta post this, I gotta post this, I gotta post this with us, this and that. It's like no, like there's something missing in that relationship. If you feel like that's the only thing you need to do, like they said, it's a validation. Why do I need to validate my love on social media? Why do I have to validate our relationship on social media? I don't think that's good and it's not healthy. I think I shouldn't have to validate to everybody in the world what I'm doing in my home or whatever I'm doing. I don't think so. It's okay, post stuff that you guys are doing, but I don't think it needs to be a validation status, like you said. Like this my man, this is my girl, this is this and that. I don't think it needs to be that way. Reason being is just you got too many nosy people. You got too many nosy people, and people see stuff like I seen, you'll get an ex or something like that. Yeah, you people be out here on social media be snooping and looking when you don't think they looking, and they can start to cause drama in that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think validating it on social media and bragging and stuff like that.
I don't think it's called validating. I think it's just posting, but I don't let Crystal say what you gotta say, and then I'll say what I have to say.
So I feel like in our generation, I feel like this social media is so brand new because it started like I remember being in English class in the 12th grade and we opening up an email account. Like it started literally with us. And so some of us are new school and some of us are old school, like one thing about my mom, she was with my dad since she was 15 years old and she genuinely loved my dad. You know what I'm saying? And she loved my dad. She loved his dirty drawers. He could eat, he could do this, he could do that. But as long as he took care of the household, he genuinely loved my dad. So my mom would just want to please my dad. And so posting nowadays is like going up to a party. You know what I'm saying? Going up to some big event. It's not nothing like, and it even could be like the newspaper. You know what I'm saying? So it's such a new exposure to our generation. So some people post too much, some people post too little. Some people take it as a post. Some people take it as you're doing too much. You know what I'm saying? So what I feel like is sometimes people post for a season. This is myself. Sometimes I don't want to post at all because I got so much in my life going on that I have to catch up with myself. And sometimes I just want to post to encourage others, and by God, I might look back and be like, oh, let me post my love, my kids, something else. I don't take it as literal, like a post, a news broadcasting, you know what I'm saying, situation. So that's just me personally. But like I said, I'm in that cusp of the generations and I know too much but know too little.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I'm impulsive. I'm pretty active. I'm, quite active on social media. But the way I look at it as I feel like I'm journaling my life.
Yeah.
So that my kids can look back and they can see what I did. They can see what we did. That's really what I look at. I look at moments in life and saving them forever. That's kind of the way I look at it. And so I don't post to brag. I post to share. I post because I'm excited about what's going on. I'm not a braggy girl. I'm happy and I'm excited. And so I'm posting to share the excitement, which might be, like you said, like the motivation, to motivate somebody or just excite somebody. Or I'm just checking in. I've been through some things.
But for me,
social media, go ahead.
I mean, for most, let's just say young adults and teenagers, that social media is taking over their life to the point where that's all thing they're thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of living in that moment, they have to post that moment. No, live in the moment. Don't have to be posting in the moment.
And I feel like you can do both. I feel like you can post, you can take a picture. If you go out to dinner or you go to a concert, I feel like you could take a few pictures that would take a minute or two, and you can still enjoy the concert for the 2 hours of the concert. That's just what I feel like.
So, well, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I'm horrible at taking pictures.
Oh,
He has taken me out to eat every week for fun, and I regret from the day we met.
That every Sunday for the last 40 years? I know about that. Okay.
No, I'm not even playing, but that legacy, if I was able to like journal it for my kids.
Or document. Maybe not a journal, but document. I'm documenting my life here.
So bad. This is a legacy for my girls.
That,
Like, look, my dad took my mom out to eat every week since they were dating. Like, literally, even COVID, he was like, okay, I guess we're ordering pho. Like, you know, like,
Awesome. That's y'all thing. That's awesome. That's literally your tradition.
we be mad at each other, but we're going to get pho.
That's awesome because you guys, it's gonna break the ice, like regardless of what's going on Sundays. You already know. You gotta talk to them.
We haven't talked for the last 2 days.
That's what I'm saying. Like you know what day it is, right? I know I don't.
well, all in all, like I feel like this. There's nothing wrong with sharing the moment or what you're doing, but don't lose
Yeah.
in the moment.
Yeah.
Don't lose in the moment because you can. It's funny because you can miss something while you're. Oh, let me post this, and then you miss something. I just feel like it's fine sharing, but don't lose when you're having fun. The post will be there. It doesn't have to. People look for immediate reaction from people. I want this like right now. I need to see how many people looking at me right now. Like, no.
That's called microwavable results.
Yeah.
I take pictures in the moment, but I don't post till the moment is passed.
No,
And I have downtime. I take pictures. I don't take in the moment. Prove me wrong. Huh?
Oh, anytime you do, you be trying to post in a moment.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Give me one example.
hold on.
That I'm not around to tell you to stop.
Whoa.
I take pictures in the moments because if I don't take them in the moment, I won't have them. But I don't sit down and post and do a write-up until that event has come and gone, until it's done and over with.
There has been some times you have, because I've been there to witness and see it show up on my feed. So, I mean, it happens.
This point went out to me at another date and time.
Yeah, it's hard to say. There's days. But in general, I would say people, especially this young generation, just don't lose in the moment. Don't lose in the moment.
I'll take a picture. Dang.
No, I lock my. You know, I take pictures. I'm gonna go live.
Oh man, I
I'm
couldn't.
gonna take pictures. You can count on me for that.
I'm still not comfortable with having my picture on the internet. So
Right.
I'm old school with it. I can't let nobody know where I'm at.
That's why I said I post afterwards.
And I explained that to her too, about posting and stuff while you're out. You just don't do it. It's a comfortability for me because I'm a techie person and I watch the media. I'm looking stuff up all the time. Posting while you're out can be detrimental. People who know you are, you know, your house gets broken into while you're out. Like, oh, they out of town? Oh yeah, I'm going by their house. And I hear that a lot of people like, oh no, my friends are good. I said, but your friends' other friends might not be as good, and they might tell that person like, hey, do this and do that.
Break into my house, they gonna run into some Airbnb guests, so they can break in.
I have ran into this personally because friends and family, you know, when they leave town, their houses got broken into because somebody told them, hey, they're out of town. So, or they're posting stuff online and the house get broken into. There's even been
generation.
Yeah, there's been incidents. It's been documented. Even Uber drivers knowing couples getting in a car and leaving for the airport, they came back to the house and robbed them. So it can happen.
Or if somebody's looking for you, they know where you are.
Yep. I never post. Sometimes if I post, I wait. If I'm out on vacation or something, I might post it a week after I got back. Somebody's like, "Oh, you out there?" Like, man, that was last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, my niece Yolanda, she posts like a month later. That's everybody's. That's your prerogative, her prerogative. If I go and I post my first day back home, that's my or my I get home in town that night and I want to post that next morning. That's my prerogative. I don't feel like I'm doing too much. I don't feel like you guys that post later or that don't post as much aren't doing too much. I feel like at the end of the day, we all need to do what we feel is right for us.
Sometimes people are just learning what's right for them.
Amen. Amen.
Anybody else have any questions or anything else?
No, I'm fucked up though.
You got Arrowhead fucked up, right? You got Arrowhead fucked up.
I enjoy myself.
I got one other question.
Yeah,
and this came up. I actually funny because I seen it on social media lately, but it has been talked about before. And this is a big thing for a lot of people: accountability. And I feel like accountability, especially when we want to throw those shades, is women's having accountability for their actions and the things they do. Now, for example, I bring this up because
come on, Crystal, you ready?
I bring this up.
I gotta get a little closer. Who said what?
Now, the reason why this comes up a lot, because I feel like there is lack of accountability, especially for women. Example, I didn't have women say things to me, and when I bring it back up, they have lack of knowledge of the things they said or done.
It's called the fifth amendment.
She said it's called the Fifth Amendment.
For example.
Okay, thank you. Because that's what I thought to ask.
I had an ex sat down, I'll be chatting it up, and she wanted to know if we could get back together. I said, my response was, hey, it's been years apart. We need to learn each other again because it's been years. I'm a different person. You're a different person.
Wow.
It's almost a decade. So people grow, people change, beliefs change.
Mm-hmm.
Her response to that was, I know you, I dated you before, we can do it again. I was like, I have changed. You need to see my views on how I view life now.
Mm.
And then she said, well, you need to let me know because I got other men waiting. I said, and I told her, I said, well, tell them I said hi.
Her bad.
Now, again, this is where I lead to accountability because that conversation came up again. And she asked why, we could have been doing this and doing that. And I said, we're not doing this because of what you said. And she said, I never said that. So that's why I say accountability for actions and things that are being said.
Is that called selective memory? Is that what that is? If you know for a fact that she said that.
Which we all say women have selective memory.
Can one person not remember?
You switched around.
Can one person not really remember?
It's do you want to remember? Now, I'm
legit forgot.
So I'm really.
I said everything will and can
be used against you.
But the real is the real, right?
The real is real. But the factual part about it is I feel women and men listen to each other differently. The equal way you could be like, oh yeah, you're on the same wave pattern. Some way in between Adam and Eve, the ego, I don't know if it was the forbidden fruit or what, some way it was reattached because
how you gonna say that when words are words and what was said? Because if I look back at that point and say, boy, I wish I could have recorded that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I'm saying. There's no accountability for the words were said. It was like, I never said that. I'm like, if you never said that, then I think that conversation or would have went differently. The future would have been different.
Right.
You know, if she would agree upon, you know, learning each other better
Right.
before we jump off and stepping back into something, I think that would have happened. You know what I'm saying? Not vice versa. Me just saying, hey, I said, tell them so. I said, what's up? That was my answer saying, no. Because if you're going to come at me like that, no.
Yeah,
So-
men and women listen to things differently.
They hear things differently, right?
Yeah, they hear things differently.
So
So,
words are,
I mean,
so
for what
word,
you said, that's what you said. And for what someone else said, that's what someone else said. I know me and my husband, we can have a full on debate about what I said and what he heard.
but word, oh,
That's not what
words of Chris Tucker. Can you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth?
yeah, I it too. But still, like text messages, like text messages, for instance, I could be like, call me back. And somebody could be in an aggressive mood, they'd be like, call me back.
Take it wrong. Take it the wrong
These-
way.
these
Take it
are-
the totally wrong way. And I didn't, honestly, because I'm coming up in the era, I didn't even realize that until one day Clacy was like, no, let's talk. And I was like, oh yeah, it does.
I remember that day.
Yeah.
Yes.
She told me what she perceived, and I was like, it was nothing like that. And you were like,
With text,
oh.
Okay.
with texting, you do have to kind of ride on a slippery slope and understand the words that you select can be taken differently from different people or stuff like
Yes.
that.
Oh, yeah.
But even in person, it could be like this. Like I was jewelry today, all day today, and somebody said, Crystal, and I was like, huh?
You did what today?
I was jittery. Like
Okay.
I said, Crystal, and I was like, huh?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what type of day they was having, but it sounds like, huh?
But
You
in
know what I'm saying? I'm totally different, but it could be in the same words, like there, like so. Me, like I really feel like women feel emotionally, and men feel like.
but in person, I explained this to my son. In person, you can really gauge a person on their demeanor, their body language. I explained to my son, this is where the kids in this generation is losing because they rather talk to you social media, text message instead of face to face, where you can gauge a person's emotion, how they're articulating their words to you, can really help a conversation. Because you, like you said, you might say something. I wasn't saying it in a mean way, but face to face can be a whole lot better because body language speaks a lot. Sign, what is it? Nonverbal communication is pretty much 80% of most of our lives, in all forms, face to face, in a room setting, driving your car. That's where I had to relate to him.
Nowadays, Zoom.
Yep. I'm a type of person, you might see me face to face, I talk with my hands. My hands are moving. And stuff like that. So it can be that. But to the point where, like you said, she said what she said, or she heard what she wanted to hear. But those are the words that came out of her mouth. And I've been in those situations a couple times, and I had to turn my nose up. So that's why I said, even for men too, have to be accountable for their actions and the things that they say. Now, to me to jump on women, there are things they have to be accountable for as far as we see in this world of words they choose to throw at a man that will cross the lines to the point where they like, it gets physical. My mama always said, and this to me, she knew where that line at with my dad. And she always said, if you're big enough a woman to cross that line, you better be big enough to take that ass with me. It's not to say to be abusive, but you can't sit there and poke that bear. You can't keep poking that bear because that's when things will get nasty. And do you guys know what I mean?
No.
So poking that bear. Can't keep going at somebody like we discussed earlier, nagging. You can't keep downing that man. Can't keep putting him in a space that he doesn't want to be in as far as calling names and all that stuff. We see it a lot. People break up and then a woman wants to throw names and start talking shit. You this, you that, little dick nigga this, you can't do this, you can't do that. That's poking that bear.
Yeah.
It's poking the bear.
Just recently, I'm sorry to cut you off, Dick.
No, go ahead. I'll just bring up the topic and
So
people's feedback.
Recently, James my son's name is James, and he had an incident at school that I was totally disheartened with my son about because a little girl was nagging him, and yeah, I believe she liked him, but she took a water balloon and she threw it at him, and he said, or in the time of throwing the water balloon, he said, if you throw another water balloon at me, I'm going to have to do something.
Right.
The little girl threw the water balloon at him, and he proceeded he said, mush, I heard slap. And I was not happy.
The muster?
He had to do something.
He said he did something.
So we look at that I look at it different ways. That's pride for him having to be pride, standing up for himself. They're saying, no matter if it was a boy or girl, you're not going to embarrass me. You're not going to push me around. Then there comes the other side of him having to control himself and say, hey, I know, it's a water balloon and, and this is a female. But it's where that line you draw. Do you say, don't touch her? Or you need to stand up for yourself and don't get bullied, because it can also be a form of being bullied too. And that's the two sided of things, saying a woman can't bully nobody.
Is very athletic to where I feel like he should have got every balloon that was blown up that day with water consistency and let her have it instead of physically connected with any body part.
Okay.
Right, and that's called making choices.
But his father said that he was putting himself in. I was like, yeah,
well, that's where I say it comes to making the right choices. And unfortunately, he mushed her. Now that was a good time to speak upon him and say, hey, that was the wrong decision. Don't make it happen again. You got to be smarter about your actions.
Well, I was very, after the teacher had told me, the teacher had wrote me and said how mature he was handling the situation. I felt like maybe then he was put up with his back up against the wall, because I said, did you give her a fair warning? And he said,
She asked for it. She begged for it. I gave it to her.
And then,
as requested.
And we having daughters though. When we having daughters, you understand? Like I've never.
He was like, yeah. I was like, what the hell you do that for?
And then that's
water balloons. I gave them every consequence, everything that could happen, every possible scenario. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to court and be like, what happened? Oh, she threw a water balloon at me, so I slapped her. No, you're going to jail. Like what?
And unfortunately, he has a bad influencer on one side. It's like Angela on the shoulder. So as your parents, they do everything possible, but who do I take advice from? You know, so kind of one of those.
You know what that's like as a kid to have mommy saying this and daddy saying that.
Well, me having daughters though, I always tell them don't let no boys pick them. Period. Period. You know what I mean? Like no boys tougher than you. Period. You know what I'm saying?
Vicky's hashtag teenage girls.
Right.
My daughters are hog.
Your son,
My
like
daughters are hog.
no girl to, because I told my son, don't defend yourself. I don't want some girl to be dragging my son by his
Oh no, hell no. See, look, my daddy will beat me if I put my hands on a girl. My dad will literally beat me if I hit a girl, right? But I mean, honestly though, I used to get bullied by girls and hit by girls like hard. Like you know what I mean? Yeah. And when I was little kids, so I should beat them girls up. I swear to God, homie, I'm proud of my son.
Like my uncle Day Day, I have seen him like get beat up by two women and he was like, I'm not, I can't.
That's tough. That's tough.
Like applauding, but my uncle I saw my uncle Day Day walk out the gates of hell. Like people like, you made it out of that? Like, so it's just like, I mean, what part do we allow our boys to take, or what parts do we introduce our girls to learning at this point?
It's crazy because, like, I mean, it's crazy. It's really crazy because this day and age, though, the media, social media is already influencing the kids so much, right? Like they're all acting a certain way. It's weird how it's just one way. I mean, they all act the same though, like low key. You know what I mean? And what we try to instill into them, I mean, is being pushed to the side low key by the schools and stuff. You know what I mean? That's their hurt.
Schools with the music they listen.
Oh my God.
Whole society is.
And honestly, I mean, I used to be a wannabe, like hard guy. You know what I mean? I thought I was tough in the streets. I really did. I thought me putting money in the house was me taking care of my house. You feel me? And it wasn't though. I was in prison, sending money home and stuff. I thought that was me being a man though. You feel me? And it wasn't though, because my kids was missing me, bro. Like I regret so much, bro. I wish I would have grew up a long time ago. You know what I mean? I wish I grew up a long time ago. I'm 45 years old. You feel me? And I'm just learning how to grow up now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and my whole thing is like I ain't dead though. You feel me? And I ain't no buster and I ain't broke. You know what I'm saying? And I know how to do some things. So let me put them in motion. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I gotta get money. I gotta get money. It's crazy, man. But like, I got kids. I got kids, homie. I love my kids dearly. I got baby mamas. You know what I'm saying? And I don't get along with none of them. Like literally, like me on support stuff type shit. Feel me? So it's like it's hard on me because like I used to be a messed up person. Like the way I thought, me and my whole mentality. So that's what brought these messed up things. You feel me? Like messed up situations. But my baby's just blessings, though. Feel me?
Right.
Like, all my blessings.
Right. And reason why I bring this up, two things. Accountability for men and women. Just be accountable for your actions and things that you say.
Can I just, some people do not know how to be accountable, or which accountability things that need to change.
Right.
You know, should they be accountable to be mean for the rest of their life because they've been taught that? Should they be accountable for being broke the rest of their life because they were, you know, like there's different levels. So you cannot be accountable for yourself. There's no way that you could kind of be accountable for yourself. Like when my husband say something about me, I'd be like, as much as I hate it, if he don't like it, is this were my business transaction? I need to.
That's a beautiful way of understanding. You feel me? So that's a beautiful way of understanding. I don't even know what that's like. I can't even relate. You feel me? I was married for 22 years. I can't relate though. You feel me? And that sucks though for me. You feel me? But it's my fault though mainly. I know now. You feel me? It's my fault. So I just gotta do things differently. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to rush more. Feel me? I'm gonna find it one day. Or
when we bring this back to just saying, just accountability.
Okay.
And it's really just being accountability for things that individuals do. If you know you made a mistake, just say, hey, I made a mistake.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Or if you know you're at fault for something, say, hey, that's my fault.
Right.
Or hey, just be the littlest thing. Hey, I asked
Right.
you, or you said you was gonna take trash out. Oh, my bad, I forgot. Just say accountability on that. And again, just if you really go like my mom said, hey, if you big enough to cross that line, step across that line, you gotta be big enough to take an ass whooping. And that goes for man and woman. Even with a man stepping to another man. But relationship wise, I would say just everybody needs to be accountable for the things they do or they say to their partner.
Right.
And understanding, you did say that. There can always be some stuff that said, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. At the end of the day, I would say don't go back and forth about it. If something was said, just say, I apologize.
Right. If
And
it's wrong,
move on.
apologize type shit.
All right.
Right.
Welcome back.
Thanks. Back from my phone. So my background is different. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
I thought that it was all lost, but anyways, hi.
We were just discussing, just trying to wrap up accountability and wrapping up the show. And I was just stating that everybody just has to be accountable for the actions and things they say. And that's really about it. I mean, just everybody got to be accountable.
For sure. Great to have a partner. I know somebody like me. I need an accountability partner because it's too easy for me to slip. Yeah. So if I have somebody checking in with me like, hey, did you do it? Did you get it done?
Right.
And I do it. But just that simple thought that let me go to the gym now.
Yeah.
So by the time he texts and asks how was the gym, I can have an answer.
Amen.
Yeah. So accountability is huge, for sure.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, you gotta be conscious. You gotta be accountable for your actions and things you say, things you do. I mean, things that you might inspire that to happen. I mean, man, I don't know.
And all these things honestly do have to be teached to our youth too. Everything, a lot of stuff that we discuss needs to be taught to the youth, especially when we're talking about your son, hit the woman, that coachable moment. I had an incident like that with my son too, like that he skipped school because people were kind of picking with him and this and that. And he skipped school and did this and that. And, he got his punishment, but at the same time, I also told him, I said, what should have done? Right. People was picking on you. You could have called me. You could have called your grandparents. Before you took action, you could have went and left class and went to the office and said, hey, I need to take a break. I need to get away from what's going on if it was bothering you that bad. But don't skip school without, just skipping school. I said, if you would have called and said, hey, look, this X, Y, and this happened, and I just want to go home, I'd be like, all right, well, you can go home. And I told him that's accountability on his actions of saying you should have communicated and said, what was going on. So
that's good.
Teaching the youth and a lot of things is what we need to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's great if we could teach them from our mistakes so that they don't have to waste time repeating the same mistakes that we did. And they can proceed forward from where we left off.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right. If there's nothing else, we're going to wrap up this episode. Anything? All right. Well, I am King Mark.
Queen Clay.